Hello friends, welcome to the Technical Point channel. This is Santosh Kumar. So we have seen that we have created a user service. In this user service, we have uh, one API. And this API is a user controller. Using this API is just we have created, and this in this API just we have call method get message info. In this message just there is a URI is message a message, and then we have called it. So when we run it, uh, we have seen that when we run it, it's giving the output like this. Just wait for the build again. First of all, we will build again. 1 minute. Clean install. So when we run this command, then it when this project will be built, and then after that it build will be created, and then the jar will be created. So just finish it. Just we will wait for the finish it, and then we run it again. So now the project has been built. So when we build it, so then it will create this jar, okay, and then we run it like this, mvn spring boot colon run, then it will run. So I am giving you just information that we can run it from outside, not from inside the uh, IntelliJ. We can run it from outside, like from command prompt or terminal. We can run it. Okay. So if we do it here, the localhost, and we have the URL localhost, and then here if I write the message like uh, hello Kubernetes. So like this output, this will be the output. So when we if we change it something new, another message like hi docker, then this message will be the output. Okay. So this is by this way we can run it. Okay. So this jar is created. Now we can dockerize it for if we want to deploy this project in Kubernetes cluster. Then first of all we have to deploy it, dockerize it, and we have to create a image, and then we have to create a container like a pod. And there we will learn about this for more, like in pods there will be container, multiple container can occur. So one pod can contain multiple container, and each container will run independently. But if we use the word like pod, then it is the smallest unit in the deployment. Okay. So we will create a pod, and then we will create a container and pod also. So generally, in this project we will use only one container in one pod. So if we use this, if we want to use it, then we can, for creating the container or pod, then it will run independently, and we can, using Kubernetes cluster, we can call it. Okay, the same output will be using from Kubernetes cluster. So there will be no dependency on the uh, um, there is no dependency on the OS level dependency, or like if we you create a image of that Docker image, then we can, it can be run on any machine like Mac OS, Mac machine, or Linux or Windows, anything, any machine it will be run on any configuration, because in the Docker, when Docker image, it contains the all the means all the environment which is required for to run that project. It is already embedded, like OS and other dependencies are embedded only. So therefore Docker is used, and if we want to means, and to Kubernetes, if we want to manage it, how to all the images, then Docker is used for this. Okay, sorry, Kubernetes is used for this. So using Kubernetes, we can manage all the containers, all the pods, all the nodes. Means we can manage all the it is mainly for my manage. So and all, it will give the environment for multiple means, or run on multiple machines, multiple nodes, multiple replica. We can do that. So okay, so just I am giving you the small example, not one. We will learn about, we will learn more about in another tutorial in Kubernetes. But for simplicity, just I have created a simple project in one API only, and we have deployed in Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so for doing this, we can first of all create an image. Okay, so first of all, we have already created image, so I will delete this. So Docker, so I have already created, but for showing you, I have removed it. So we will create the Docker image again. So for creating the Docker image again, just I have in we have to go to the project folder, like user service. We have the project. So in this project, we have to write this command, Docker build dash t for tagging. So whatever tag we want to tell it. So here we have written the user service colon v1. Okay, and current folder, this is dot for current folder. So if we write this command, then it will create a image again. Let's wait for the for creating the image. It's creating the image. first of all it will build and then create an image. So when we write this, when we while we it is creating, I will uh, it is using from it is referring from the file docker file, and there is a docker file is there. So here in docker file we have first of all we have to create write the base image. So in this base image, first of all what is the base image for running a Java application. So it contains the base image. It has the dependency of the OS dependencies, and then after that we will wrapping something more, more dependencies, whatever dependency we have, then it will create the image. So first of all it will create the image from there, and it will, when we write this command, then it will go to the docker hub, and from the docker hub it will download it and download this image, base image, and then we have a working directory like a slash app, and then we will create a we will copy the current whatever the jar we have created, like here we have user service dot 0.01 dot dash snapshot dot jar to user service. So it will create this, it will copy this current project directory. Suppose we whatever that this is jar, using this jar we can run it, as you know that. So this is the runnable jar. So it will copy the current this jar to as a new name like user service dot jar, and it will go in the slash app directory, uh, and it will expose the port is whatever the port we want to expose it. So if we use expose it the 9004, any port whatever we want, if you want to use, send out, so it will be accessible from outside the world. Okay. So and this is the entry point for running this jar. So when we run the image, docker image, when we run the container from Kubernetes cluster, and then it will be entry point. From here it will run this jar and this jar is contained in the image, and image will be contained in the Kubernetes cluster. Okay. So if we write I think it is created, docker image is created. So here docker image is created. So if we write the command like docker images, then this image is created. Okay. So for this is the image is created. Now we will deploy it in the Kubernetes cluster, this image. So this image, sorry, user service. So for writing this, first of all we have a user service deployment. So I have already extension, we are using Visual Studio Code. So if we use the extension, I have already installed the extensions and Kubernetes dependencies also. So it will generate the code template for deployment or service, or for creating other Kubernetes component. So we can do that. So first of all, if we write the deployment, suppose deployment, if we want to deployment, write the deployment, Kubernetes deployment for the service. So here we have already created. So we can write user service right. Okay. And port will be we can write 904, and if we want to, so this is the port, so this is the container port will be there. And if we want, okay, so here first of all we have the API service and the kind deployment. This is the deployment YAML, and in this deployment YAML we can provide the information like in deployment, API version, metadata. So I have already created the metadata, and then this is the metadata user service dash app, and then this is the label, and this is the container name, and whatever the image. So for image we can write the copy this image, copy user service, and tag is version is v1. So we can write user service user service user service colon v1. So first of it will get the image from the local environment. So I have already configured the mini cube in my system. So you can also do that, and if we use mini cube, then it will have the environment for Kubernetes cluster, and then in that cluster we can run our image and deployment also on service also, whatever if we want to, whatever the Kubernetes related work, we can do that. Okay. uh, so I have already I have written this, and then we can create a service also, like service. We can write service. Okay, so we can write Kubernetes service. Okay, so explanation. So here I will write the user service, correct. Name, any name you can provide, and this is the service. So user service, and this is the port. This is the port, like 90 port, whatever the port we want to use, 90 port. But generally we I have written the same port, and this is the target port. Okay, so this is the target port 9004 port. So this target port is pointing to this. See the same point. This means whatever the service we have created, then from outside the world, if we want to this is the port, and suppose if we want to call this service from outside the world, then first of all we have to write the type type colon load node port. Okay, node port, correct. And so if we write the node port, then it will be called from outside. Generally by default service will be service. There are 4 types of services there: node port, load balancer, cluster IP, and headless. So if we write the node by default, cluster IP will be service type will be cluster IP. But if we write the node port, then this service will be accessible from outside the world. So from outside, anybody can access this service. Okay, and in this Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and here the port is whatever we the port we want to specify, and then this is the target port. This is the same. This is the same port whatever we have defined in the container port. Okay, so this is so we have created the user service deployment. So in the deployment we have 2 parts. We have to create the deployment file and service file, but I have created both in the same file. Okay, so for the sake of simplicity, and I will save it. Okay, so now we will run it. So running it, we can go to the yeah Kubernetes cluster deployment. So if we write the ls, then we have a user service deployment. So if we write like user service the dash service dash deployment, So whatever the code I have written in that VS Code, it is showing that user service, and this is the match label, and this is the uh, template label, and then container. So one more thing I want to tell you that we have to suppose anybody calls to my service user service, then it will call will come to here, and then here it will call will go to the container, and like in pod, and then it will be in that container, in that pod, then it will search that whatever the service, and so to identify which service I want to call, like which container I want to call. So using this selector, if we write the selector app equal to user service here, and then it should be similar to this. I think it is different. So no, I will change it. Okay, uh, I have forgot to change it. Okay, sorry for that. Okay. So suppose if any service will call, suppose anybody any request will come, then it will come to this service, and then it should be this user service should be same as uh, this user service, like selector app equal to user service. This should be same. This should be same like this. So it is pointing to this, and then container, whatever the container I have provided, then in that container it will be called, and then it will give the response. Okay, so we have created a deployment and of service. So by using this deployment, it is completed. So for user service deployment is completed in Kubernetes cluster. Now if we want, if we will apply this configuration, then we can run it. Okay, okay, then we will again do that, like cat. So here user service is there, user service, and here also user service is changed. Okay, now we will create the, first of all we can show it Docker images, so that it is not showing. Okay, okay, document projects, I think we should go to this document projects, not reflecting here. Okay, okay. So we can go to, we can go to this document. Sharing document slash project documents slash projects slash user service. Okay, now this is the user service, and then if we write this like uh, docker images, docker images. Okay, so here user service is which is v1, and user service is name, tag name. Okay, so if we want to run it, so we have to go to this folder, because I have created here. Okay, so we will go to document cd document Kubernetes. Kubernetes project. So here if we write the cat user service dash deployment, then it is showing that this is the service user service deployment file deployment, and this is the service part. Okay, now I will apply the we will deploy it both. So kubectl apply dash f and user service user dash service dash deployment. So if we see that here we have it is created both deployment and as well as service also. So if we write that kubectl get all so both user service is running, it is pod is created, okay, and this is the service sorry, this is the service user service. User service is also created, okay, and so both is created, and this is the replica deployment is created also. Here it is showing that the user service app whatever the app I have created, user service dash app, it is created, and deployment is created, replica set is created, service is created, and pod is also created. In pod there is a one container like this is user service, okay, which is mentioned here. So in one pod contain can contain multiple containers, but for the sake of simplicity I have created only one container, okay. We can use it multiple service like multiple container in one pod. Like suppose we have a one container for user service and another container for database, so we can use it, okay. So to access this we have we can run it we can it will be this service will be run on this port 32408 port, okay, and then the IP will be mini cluster IP. What is the name? Mini cluster one. Mini cube cluster IP. So I have already so if we go to the like if we write it here, this is the mini cube cluster IP, and then what is the port name? Port number is 32408. So here we write we are using the postman. Sorry, we are I will tell you that this is we are using the postman, and from this postman we will try to call to the Kubernetes cluster, and in that cluster we will call the user service whatever this service is deployed in the Kubernetes cluster, okay. So here 32408, and here what is the context name? So here context name is user and this is the message, okay. So here user is the context request mapping, and then this is the message, and message is like hello Docker. Okay, now we will run it. Yeah, so welcome to Java Docker. If we want to, if we change it, uh, if we change it like Kubernetes, change the message parameter Kubernetes. Okay, so this is the change, this is changed. Okay, so this is the service, this is the API we have created, user service we have created, and then we have deployed it. So uh, uh, and now it is calling from the postman, we can call it. So similar way you can create your project and do that. Okay, uh, so one more thing I want to tell you, that I have we have created the images, like whatever the images, this is a local images. I have not like not calling the image, this image is from outside. We can call it also from like Docker Hub, but I have created the image to call it locally. Like first of all, it will try to call it locally. Suppose if we have created a Kubernetes cluster, Kubernetes deployment, and we have configured it, then it can also try to local, and also it will also try to download the image from the Docker Hub. So I have created this locally, so it will search here, and then it can call outside also. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you, that uh, here we have the pod. Okay, so we can see the logs also of the pod. So you can see that, like doc um, kubectl logs, uh, copy, paste. So if you see that here, okay, and this is a welcome to Java, welcome to Java Docker, this is a welcome to Java Kubernetes. These are the messages, which this is the same message which I have printed in the uh, system.out.println. Like here we have whatever the message we have printed, so it will call to that container, and from this container it will show the logs. So this is the logs. Okay, so I am concluding this. I am done with this tutorial. Uh, in this session, I will recap you also. So first of all, uh, our main purpose is to create Spring Boot microservice, and then after first of all, I have run it in the locally. If you see that here, I have run it locally, and then I have dockerized it. So for in the user service, first of all, whatever I had done, so in this service we have created a small API, one API only, mainly in this API only it will call the message, and then it will showing the result, and it is returning the result. And then I have created a server port is 9004. And then after creating this, um, uh, we have built this project, and after this building, then we have run this project, so that using Maven we can build it, and we can run it also, so that outside the outside the tool editor, we can run it also. So and then also I have created a Docker file. In that Docker file, we have calling the base image, and from this we can create a working directory, and then whatever the jar is created after building the Maven, and from jar with user service dash 0.0. one dot dash snapshot dot jar. This jar is copied from from current folder to user service, and we have exposed the port, and then this is the entry point for containing running the container. Okay, and then after that we run it using docker build, and so it will create the image. And first of all it will build it, and then it will create the image. And then we have we have checked that what is the images are there. So we have written the docker images. If we write the docker images, then this image is created, and then we have deployed it. So for deployment we have two part. One part is deployment file, and another part is service part. So I have created one file only. So to do both, to create the deployment as well as service also. So in this deployment we have creating what is the label, what is the matching selector, and then we have mentioned the image name and image tagging also, and also port also. This is the resource limit is 128. This CPU, this is as usual. And also we have mentioned the port. So this port is should be similar exactly with the target port. Here we have created the service, and then service is we have created the selector. So this user service should be same as uh, user service matching selector, and similar to target port. This port should be same as in container port. And we have created a node port. So node port is by default the cluster IP is there. Service type is cluster IP, but we have we have mentioned here node port, so that we can call this service can be called from outside. Okay. So now I am done with the this session. Next session we will learn something more. Okay, we will meet in next session. Okay, thank you.